Your mic, Paul. That's big. YouTube, I guess. Well, hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Looks like,
Paul.
looks like I'm frozen.
Yeah, I think
You must have the door open.
You going to get a coffee or something?
I don't know. Can you hear me? You can hear me, but I can't
Yeah.
seem to unfreeze my video. Isn't that weird? I'll turn the camera off and on.
All
See
right.
It's called Facebook, not Backbook.
Speaking of Facebook, what a time I'm having here lately. My goodness gracious. The last few weeks on Facebook, and I don't know, it's even on the page itself. I'm getting a lot of trouble as well. Paul, you might have to log out and back in again.
Wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, we can wait.
Yep.
So, what's new, Mike?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Just waiting for spring to come.
Oh, anyway, tonight is episode 250.
Wow, eh?
Unreal. And we're still having trouble.
Well, that's us.
That's my end of it, though, I guess, yeah. No, it's just lately.
I'm still frozen.
You're still frozen? Yeah, you are. Try to share a screen, Paul, maybe.
Oh, unbelievable.
Is your video working?
Ah,
Your light on?
sec.
Well, just bear with us, folks. Just technical difficulties here.
Wow.
Try sharing a screen, Paul. See if that works. Mm-hmm.
Swapping cameras?
Wow.
Well, while Paul's doing that, maybe we'll get, he's gone out, we'll join back again.
He'll be back.
Welcome to show 250. That's been a lot of runs to this one. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Edutainment, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, I think. My name is Chris Corwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm also an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. So
There you go.
I would like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts. I'm going to have to welcome back at least one of them. There's Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory in St. John. Mike.
Good evening.
And absent right now is Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in Hampton, who I believe will be with us again very soon.
He's in the moon shadow.
I'm watching for notes here on Facebook Messenger to see if he comes in or something. Okay, well, on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, there is a time of year right around the spring equinox when we truly gaze out into deep space. We call this season Galaxy Season. That's coming up very soon.
It is.
Galaxies, island universes, were described, I think, as Carl Sagan. They are groups of billions to several hundred billion stars, all bound together by gravity. Here he comes. Hey! And in the spring, there is a particular rich part of sky where we can enjoy views of many of them in a single evening. Now, with the equinox less, hey, here he is. He's back. I think there he is. Yep. Cool. Okay. With the equinox less than 3 weeks away, we thought tonight would be a good time to take a better look at this upcoming season. Where to look for both observing and imaging these treasures, what's popular to capture, and what equipment is best used to view and photograph them. Right?
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Also tonight, Vinyl Bud will return with another fine binocular target to enjoy. Paul
We
will
just
be
need disguise to do it.
Yeah. Paul will be delivering another interesting Rosanna's fun fact. Looks like it's clear maybe tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, maybe.
And I'll have a quick look at some upcoming celestial events. Actually, I won't have a quick look. I'm going to let NASA have a quick look. I'm going to step back and watch a video tonight.
Well, speaking of that, they landed today.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Along with the display, they have really some great moon captures too when they're going around. Along with the display of your photo submissions. Okay, let's get started, guys, with tonight's program and a talk about Galaxy Season. YouTube is up. Yep, it is, and I think we're up here too. So, okay, we're going to start. Paul, you going to start? You want me to?
No, you guys go ahead. I'm still trying to fix myself.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
There. Oh, it's not. I'll play with the settings later.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, where'd I go?
Oh.
Okay.
So Galaxy Season is when we're looking out into this part of space in the south part. Here's our sky at south tomorrow night at midnight. Let's scroll it back to. This is using the program called Stellarium, Stellarium. Great program. If you haven't downloaded it yet, I recommend it. It's even good for your phone. And whenever I'm going out to do any type of observing at all, especially if I have outreach group going on, I'll go to Stellarium and have a look at what's happening that particular night. And I can scroll ahead, of course, here months ahead, days ahead, and pick a certain time and date, and it'll show me what's up in the night sky at that time, whether it's the moon, planets, globular clusters, or galaxies, or whatever. But I like to zoom in on this. So here we are tonight or tomorrow night, I guess, at 10 o'clock. And I'm going to put on some names here. Here's a constellation of Virgo. Here's Leo. And in this place right here, between Coma Berenices, Leo, and Virgo, this triangular spot right in this area, that seems to be one of the most richest areas of the night sky as far as galaxies go. I'm going to show you that in a second. But here we are. Here's our winter Milky Way, basically, or our winter season with all of the objects that are out there for us to look at. Now, this is all depending on what I have set up for numbers as well, because you're not going to see all of this, of course. But if I do zoom over to here, though, back into here, this Leo is these are our spring constellations coming up. And now here's Cancer, here's Leo. If I go into this area, put that back on again. Where'd that go? Good. I was right in here, wasn't I? If I can see in this part of the sky, this is that tail section between the tail of Leo and the head, I'll say, of Virgo. Bring them all back on again. And we can see here's a large number of, I can just keep zooming in here and zooming in and look at the galaxies that pop into view. Now, a lot of this is not going to be visible naked eye for sure. Small binocular target, some of these are small binocular targets, but some of them are like 12-inch and up telescopes. And then even when you get into this part of the area, you're looking at more like a Hubble type view. But you can take a look here and see all these red dots are actually galaxies. So we've turned away from the center of the Milky Way. We're looking out into deep space right now. And this is the area of that becomes the highest quality of treasures, I guess, or the largest number of sky treasures are in this section here. So here's the tail of Leo, and down here would be Virgo. No, it's not lighting them up again. There it is. There's Booties. There's Virgo. So we're right between Leo and Virgo. And in here we've got a lot of targets that are popular targets. I'll call them for astronomers and for astrophotographers, especially like this one here called the Leo triplet, where we've got 3 galaxies here captured together. And we've got the Virgo cluster of galaxies down in here. We've got a number of globular clusters here as well, like Kick the Can cluster. That's a known to me. The globular clusters are large collections of stars, anywhere from, say, 5,000 to 500,000 stars in the ball, tightly bound together by gravity. So there are a number of them too in the sky. They usually pop out. We usually see a lot more of them in the summertime sky than in the springtime sky. But anyway, this is the part of the sky that you want to start scanning through with binoculars, and you will see these little fuzzy patches in different spots, and those are galaxies that you're looking at. Again, anywhere from, say, 1,000,000 stars to almost 1,000,000,000,000 stars in the constellation of, the galaxy of Andromeda. Most of these are several 100 billion stars, though. We can find, you can also use a search here, and let's say M104. It's kind of a popular galaxy as well, the Sombrero. That's a nice target for astrophotographers. Paul's going to get into some of the targets that he's captured in our night sky for springtime. So springtime brings us into galaxy season. Summertime brings us into Milky Way season. The wintertime, we're into just looking back out into deep space. So we're getting away from the wintertime sky into the springtime sky now. And that's why we talked about this being galaxy season. I can change the number here. Let's change this number back to a better value. Let's bring him down. You see how I can drop out the number of galaxies by just changing these sliders on the DSO scale in here, and you can actually select which ones you want to look at, and you can actually select to what size telescope or what magnitude you're limiting yourself to. 8.5, say. If you click on that, that shows you everything that's being shown at 8.5 magnitudes. I'm going to let Paul carry it from there, or Mike. Stop sharing my screen here. Over here.
I can just quickly clarify exactly, basically what you were saying, Chris. I just want to show it from a different perspective, if I can. You should see stellarium there. Hopefully.
Yep, we do.
And this time of year, like I've got April, but if I go May down a month, whoops, right here. When normally we look at the sky, this is a Milky Way that cuts through. We either got a summer Milky Way or a winter Milky Way when we're looking due south. In the middle of winter, it's the winter Milky Way and Orion and all those constellations. And then in the summertime, you come from basically Cygnus right on down into the center of the galactic core. So we're looking, when you're trying to look through galaxies through the Milky Way, you get all that dust and stars and things and all that stuff in your way, and you can't see anything. If we're looking like down the other way, again, we're still looking through the Milky Way from this perspective here, where you're going up and down. Then there's still a lot of dust and stuff in the way. So yes, the bright stars and things you can see, but those dim galaxies, you got to look through all of that dust and gas and rock. This time of year, when we look up and towards Leo, now we're looking perpendicular to the Milky Way. And all of that stuff is out of the way. And that's why, like you said, Chris, we can zoom in and come around to Leo, and then you can see the galaxies just explode from there. And it goes nuts. When you zoom in, there's more galaxies than stars in that area. And it's all because we don't have to worry about looking through the mass of our own galaxy to see it. So that's just a quick explanation maybe of what's going on there. Now, how do I get into this? I got to stop share. Close. Stop share. If that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
The Milky Way is a beautiful spot. There's lots of gorgeous things to look at, but it blocks our view from these distant galaxies.
So it's this time of year we look forward to, especially when you get a night too that's like it is right now. Crescent moon, thin crescent moon sets early, so our sky isn't polluted with light pollution, artificial light pollution from the big moon, right? So this is the time of year or the time of the month actually to be out looking for galaxies as well. Naked eye and of course with astrophotography. Paul's going to share a few pictures here of some examples of galaxies that we've talked about.
Okay. Before I do, I just want to talk about a book that I've found useful over the years for finding out at what month what's up, and what's in the sky in its best position to actually image, because we can see it in a certain part of the sky, a certain time of the year may not be the best time to actually image it or try to photograph it. Because there are certain places in the higher in the sky, the less atmosphere, and so on and so forth. So that's what we really want to concern ourselves with. So this book is called The 100 Best Astrophotography Targets, and it says a monthly guide for CCD images. I've had it for a while. Everything's CMOS now, but so a monthly guide for imaging with amateur telescopes. And what this book is, first of all, it's written by a fellow named Reuben Keir. And it's called, it's in the Practical Astronomy series. So Patrick Moore's Practical Astronomy series. And what it does is it shows you the targets, say in the month, say April the 5th, galaxy M81 and M82. There we go. And then it'll tell you the designation of the galaxy, all the kind of things that you need to know about it. It'll show you the image that they captured. And then on the opposite page, they'll tell you to what kind of telescope that they used to capture it, what the subs were, how long they were, and even little ideas as to the little tricks that you may need to work on certain galaxies, that kind of stuff. But this isn't just for galaxy. This covers nebula, clusters, everything. And it's a great little book. So if somebody's looking for a book because they don't know, they go outside, they plunk their gear down, but they don't know what they're going to image that night, this can help you plan your whole year, because this goes right from January right through December. And our targets, like Chris always says, aren't going to change in our lifetime, typically. So this book is good no matter whenever you pick it up. But it'll give you an idea of the type of telescope size that you need to reveal certain details from certain things, that sort of thing. So anyway, so that's the book that I use to do these things. Now I'm going to show you some of the images that I've taken and just give you an idea of the time of year that they were taken. So I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, so you should be able to see M81 and M82.
There we got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So so these targets, M81, M82, you can shoot them as a pair, and you don't really need a really powerful telescope to get these. I think I got these with a 120 millimeter refractor, or you can shoot them separately. So there's M81, M82 by themselves, or you can go ahead and just take them and do them individually. So so you can do that. So that would be that one. Where's the other one? Right here. And so you can do them separately, and you can see that there's quite a little difference, even if you look at them when they were shot together. This one here, you'll notice there's a lot of red nuggets in it, and that's because I used the hydrogen alpha filter afterwards to bring out all that hydrogen nebulosity, and that's how I was able to bring it out here. Because lots of times this will look just like a smear, and you won't really see that hydrogen alpha. So with the right filters, you can bring out a lot of really cool stuff. And there's also that, I keep forgetting the acronym for all that really, really light dust, that white dust that you see in the background. Flux nebula, I think they call it. And anyway, so you can get all that stuff too. So that's M81, M82. What else can you get up there in the sky that's kind of cool? This one here, so this is called the Hickson group. And this one's not shot all that much. And I think I use my 120 millimeter scope to get this. And this one you can get coming up now, the end of March into April. That's a really cool one because there's a lot of different galaxies, different shapes. So you got really odd spirals, You've got odd shaped ellipticals, all kinds. And then if you look really close, there's all kinds of little tiny ones in and about. But there's a lot of interesting different shaped galaxies. So those ones are always fun to try to capture. Then everybody's favorite, or one of their favorites, M51. That typically is a good May target. So come up in May, that's when the Big Dipper, because that's where this one resides, is in that area. And that one you can pick up, and it's certainly a favorite. It's a pretty bright target, so it's really quite easy to get. They do recommend a larger telescope for that one. Say if you got an 8-inch SCT, that would be a really, really good thing to get it with. You get more detail with the larger optic that you have. The larger the mirror or the larger the glass, you'll get more detail in the arms and all that stuff. You'll still see the target in a smaller scope, but the larger your telescope, then the more definition and the deeper you can get in with those targets. Let me see if there's another one here that I want to show you. Let me see. Oh, of course, yes. Everybody's favorite, the most imaged galaxy out there, the Andromeda Galaxy. And again, you can shoot this a lot of ways. You don't have to have a special filter or anything like that to get this. You can shoot the Andromeda Galaxy with a DSLR and get some really nice results. The best time to get this, believe it or not, is in October, November. That's when it's positioned best to be actually photographed. But you can get it all summer long because it rides right in the Milky Way. So it's really it's an easy one to capture. You'll notice on this one again, you'll see a lot of those hydrogen alpha pockets, and that's just simply going back with a hydrogen alpha filter and then putting that on and then being able to get that hydrogen nebulosity in that one. I don't know if there's any other that I want to show on Galaxy. I think the rest of these are just nebulas that are here. I think those are pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to stop sharing. So basically, the best thing I can offer if you're going to image is get a book, something like that. This book is really excellent. There's a lot of good apps that'll tell you what's out there, at when is the best to shoot and at what time and all that kind of stuff. Just get out there and just even start out with your DSLR on a tripod and shoot the sky. You'd be surprised what you capture just with that. So, but if you want to get these targets a little deeper, then yeah, some telescopes are going to be needed. And it's pretty satisfying to have a decent image when you're going out there spending all that time getting this stuff. So,
Right.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What focal length should you be looking at to get these galaxies? Andromeda is different because it's so close and it's so big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand these smaller scopes and camera lenses. Yes, you're going to get the big stuff. But as you saw in Leo, those hundreds of millions of galaxies in the background,
Yeah.
you're going to need what, maybe 1,000 millimeter minimum and up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the more focal length you use, the trickier it becomes.
It does, but you're going to get these things in any detail other than just dots.
Yeah, like you'll see it. A lot of the ones that are in this book, those smaller galaxies, they're using a 12-inch Meade telescope. It doesn't say anything about using any Barlows, just the telescope itself. So whatever focal length the Meade 12-inch scope would be, I'm going to assume somewhere around 2,200 millimeters, somewhere in thereabouts.
Yep.
So that would be, and the reason it's not so much the magnification that you're after. I mean, obviously you need to blow something up, but the larger the glass or the mirror, then the deeper you can get into space, but the more detail that you can bring out.
Yeah.
You're just getting more resolution. And that's why these little tiny telescopes like the sea stars and that, they'll show you the images nice and bright and that. But as soon as you start to go into them, they'll fall apart on you pretty quick because they don't have the resolution. So that's where the focal length and the aperture really make a big difference, right?
I actually typed that into Google this afternoon. Let's see what's the best focal length if I wanted to look at these galaxies, right?
Oh, just to observe them, you mean?
And they were saying, as far as a Newtonian goes, probably a 10 to a 12-inch with 1,000 millimeter focal length, or get into your Smith-Cassegrains, your 8-inch and up Smith-Cassegrains to get any kind of detail out of any of these galaxies that are so small.
Yeah.
They just look like stars. So
Yeah.
What about for observing, guys? What do you think for observing?
Well, that's what he's talking about, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about observing. Paul's a camera guy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming anything you can see, you're going to get more detail out of a camera anyway.
Oh, no question. Yeah, because we
Far
know
more
what an eye
detail.
can see, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, like those telescopes you guys use, those 10-inch, Dobsonians, like they're kind of ideal, really.
They pretty much are. That was the focus on it, and you can borrow that, like you said, and get even more. Now you're going to 2,000 millimeter focal length or 3,000 millimeter focal
Yeah.
length.
Yeah, and of course, the deeper you get in and the smaller they are, and the more aperture you're using, then the more important it is to get to a darker sky.
Yeah, absolutely. Full skies, everything.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of an interesting thought when we said we were going to talk about galaxies a bit. I thought, geez, what would be the best to view these things? Because we all go out by the big scopes to start, then shrink our ways down to these little wide view shots.
Yeah.
But I guess in the long run, you got to have a few different scopes to look at everything overall.
Yeah, because if you
That's
take the size of M50 or M31, that's a pretty big galaxy.
Yeah,
And if your scope was like if you're using an 8-inch SCT, you're not likely to get it all in there. You're going to get
right.
But then you go to a refractor. Now you saw you got it all in there, or go to a reducer and maybe use a 6-inch SCT or something, because it's a pretty
Because of the size of it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the other thing the book tells you too, is it tells you the angular size of all these targets, so you get an idea. Because we all know now that the moon is, where's my finger? There we go. The moon is half the size of our baby finger, right? And then it's half a degree. So from there you start to figure out, okay, how big are these targets, and then you'll know what kind of focal length you'll need.
Yeah.
Just throw it there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, and the season is coming about now, and we've got a couple of good months at least in that
Oh
season.
yeah.
Our summer Milky Way shots again. So even if you're not one for the cold, hang on. Our spring is right around the corner, and warmer evenings are coming, even along. Well, March is going to be a very busy month anyway with celestial events. There's a lot happening.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Total lunar eclipse and the partial solar eclipse, and Venus in the daytime and evening sky both, and some other things happening. So it's going to be a busy month. So if you get an opportunity to get out and capture a few of these, it's really nice. And I always like to have any of your photos that you have. Of course, send them in, and we'd be happy to share them on our broadcast. Anything else to say, guys, on that topic? Or are we good?
Just get out there and enjoy it. It's a time of year where the weather's going to start getting better, little by little. And there's a lot of really, really cool things to see. And there are some pretty bright galaxies when you want to look at them. Some of them, the Andromeda is naked eye. So it's kind of fun to try to find it. You can still see it this time of year.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And yeah, just get out and have fun.
There you go. Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's move from there then to Albino Bud. Albino Bud for this week is
Binocular Target of the Week this week by Albino Bud is, and there's a hint right up here in front. M81 and M82, Bode's Galaxy, and of course the Cigar Galaxy. Some might say that that's a Cuban cigar, so it's got to be a good galaxy. M81 and M82 galaxies are a pair of galaxies located in the constellation Ursa Major. M81 Bode's Galaxy is a spiral galaxy and lies approximately 11.8 million light years away. And M82, the Cigar Galaxy, is a regular galaxy at roughly the same distance from the Earth. So as Paul was pointing out earlier, how would we find it in the sky if you went out tonight at 9 o'clock? Basically swung yourself around to 30 degrees north-northeast, look up, you'll see the Big Dipper. You find that cup part of the Big Dipper, you take the two stars at a diagonal and just go straight line right out the same distance, and you're going to hit the two of them together right in here. With a closer look again, there's the bowl of the Big Dipper. Take these two stars at a diagonal, follow it straight out, and guess what? Oops, it'll put you back on it. Just go previous right there. So straight line, you'll get the two of them in your field of view. What does it look like? Paul already showed you a photograph. You got the Cigar Galaxy here and Bode's here. This one you'll make out as a nice, open galaxy. You can see it's basically tilted towards us. This one down here in Sky Galaxy is going to look more like a line or a smudge, but it still looks pretty cool in a pair of binoculars. In 10 by 50s, there's what you get right there. So yeah, this one where it's facing us and tipping towards us, you get a nice, bright wash. And then the one here, this looks like a little straight line. Compared to the full moon, they're just a little bit bigger together than the full moon. So yes, you can get them in the same field of view in a pair of binoculars. Yes, you can see them both in 10 by 50s, and it's a great little target to look at. Are you ready for this one? What do astronauts do to prepare for space travel? They take their vitamins. R. That's binocular target of the week by Bino Bucks.
Old beehive.
Never heard of your vitamins?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
The only vitamin I take now is onshore.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice target for like my C11 when I have that out too. And I get a 32 millimeter eyepiece. I can just fit the two galaxies in the field of view at the same time. So it's really nice to see two galaxies at once through an eyepiece, right? It's cool. Easy, and you get to see them flat in this way.
Another favorite one to I actually want I don't know if I've ever observed it, but I know I've certainly taken pictures of it. Is the Leo triplet?
Yeah.
That's a pretty popular target because those are pretty bright galaxies from our point of view, and you can shoot them individually or you can shoot them as a group, and just below Leo, they sit right in there.
Yeah.
So that's another good one to shoot. And
Leo's nice and high now. We're getting higher each night now, so we're getting good views of Leo.
There's so much in that area. It's just unbelievable.
I was looking at your stellarium thing, Mike, when and it showed all the galaxies that are just around Earth Major. Just a ton of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
We're not alone. I know that.
Hard to believe it. Yep. Okay. Let's go to Rosanna's fun fact maybe next.
All right. Let's see if I can make this happen.
Oh, hang on. Dan Garrett says, "You know why astronauts use Linux or Linux? Because
Why?
you can't open windows in space." Wah, wah, wah.
Oh.
Hardy har har.
On that note.
Ba-doom-doom.
Rosanna's fun fact.
All right, welcome back, Rosanna. Did you hear it this time?
It worked.
Yeah, a little better.
There you go. All right, well, let's get right into it. So, Rosanna writes, "Hi, Paul. Science of every sort." Just a sec, I got to move some stuff out of the way because this stuff was blocking my words. There we go. Science of every sort was my favorite subject in school. If you know me, you would think that the favorite subject would have been music or art. But to me, both of those are sciences too, so they can all go together. Let me just get out of this for a second, and I'll bring up the photos. There we go. And they all go together. I just acquired yet another new science book that is providing some hilarious fun with the grandkids. But can science go too far? Here's a deep dive into a far-out science that goes back millions of years, but ends up in the present. This is an artist's impression of a supernova as it desolates a nearby habitable planet. Astronomers have known for some time that supernova, or supernovae, have a profound effect on planets with their path, including Earth. Earth's deposits of gold, platinum, and other heavy metals are believed to have some distributed by Earth by ancient supernovas. So what is a supernova? Meaning a real supernova, not a red wine or a champagne supernova. I think supernova is slang for the type of headache you have after imbibing the whole bottle of champagne. But a galactic supernova is a powerful and luminous explosion of a star and occurs during the last evolutionary stages of a massive star, or when a white dwarf is triggered into runaway nuclear fusion. I'll turn that up so you can see it. There's probably one down there. This is SN1994D in the lower left corner, a type LA supernova with its host galaxy NGC 4526. The blast of gamma rays released in this process of an exploding dying star can significantly affect depleting nitrogen and oxygen in the upper atmosphere, depleting the ozone layer and causing harmful levels of ultraviolet radiation to reach the surface. In a new paper by a team of astronomers from the University of Carolina, Santa Cruz, a nearby supernova may have influenced the evolution of life on Earth. According to their findings, Earth was pummeled by radiation from a nearby supernova about 2.5 million years ago. This burst of radiation was powerful enough to break apart the DNA of living creatures in Lake Tanganyika, the deepest body of water in Africa. The title of the paper is Life in the Bubble: How a Nearby Supernova Left Ephemeral Footprints on the Cosmic Ray Spectrum of Indelible Imprints of Life. Earth is in a bubble. The researchers' state of Earth sits inside a 300 parsec wide void that was carved out by a series of supernova explosions that went off tens of millions of years ago, pushing away interstellar gas and creating a bubble-like structure. The paper is filled with sentences like this one. This is supported by the phase flip in a dipole and entropy of around 100 TeV in the galactic center direction. So I would not pretend to be able to explain how they have reached their conclusions, but they have lots of math as well to back up their arguments. The math is fun to look at, even if I can't explain it. I don't know if she give you with math. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So this science is pretty far out, huh? Pun intended, but still, it hasn't gone too far. It seems plausible that cosmic radiation from a supernova 2.5 million years ago could indeed alter DNA here on Earth. I'm not sure how we can precisely measure it, but our ability to measure things is consistently improving, as evidenced by the work done in this paper. Humans are fascinated with measuring everything. Just this week, my brother Rupert brought to my attention that in all of telemetry coming from the ISS, the fill level of the urine tank is provided. Rupert wrote, of course, somebody wrote a bot so that when it changes, you can be notified. Situational awareness. Seriously, here it is. You can probably get a notification on your phone for each time someone takes a whiz on the ISS. And yes, there is included a measurement of how much they have increased the tank fill level.
Okay.
That might be taking science a bit too far, but I guess if you need to, no, you need to. Personally, the idea of living in a bubble and not just supernova neighborhood bubble is starting to appeal to me, as long as I can still get all my science updates, even the whiz percentages from the ISS. One day, Merle decided he has had enough politics. That's this week's.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Where'd you come up with this stuff? Wow.
Oh, man, who thought we'd be measuring space P, eh?
Yeah, I never really thought about it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, the things you can do with math.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Rosanna.
Yeah, wow.
It's always interesting and lots of times so humorous.
Always nuts.
Hope they don't burst the bubble.
True enough.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to a few photos then. I guess that's my turn, right? So
Yeah.
here, and we're going to go down here to some photos, some notes. Okay, let's see what we got for photos this week. Open with photos. Drop that one over here. And maximize it and try to see, share my screen. Share number 2. Okay.
Number 2. No. That's number 1.
Measure that.
Oh, up there. Picture up.
We have a picture, yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. Okay. This one comes from Brad Perry. Brad says, "Hi, Chris." He said, just submitting a few captures from the past couple of weeks. One is of the northern end of the Milky Way, taken on February 22nd. Cool, eh?
Beautiful.
There was not a single cloud anywhere in the sky, no wind whatsoever, and no moon to compete with. I don't know where you were.
Yeah, exactly.
So I strapped on the snowshoes and trekked out to one of my favorite spots to enjoy the evening. Amazing. Nice stuff, Brett.
Very nice.
With a nice foreground and yeah, knows the stuff. And we're going to go with this one. The other photos, he said, are a couple of recent aurora captures. Now, these were, I did see a few other people putting up posts of aurora, and I was kind of
nice.
I didn't really know there was anything happening. And actually, watch for Tuesday night of this week. Right now, they're calling for cloud with rain overnight, but maybe it'll be a little bit faster coming tomorrow night. But watch for Tuesday night because there may be something coming. Anyway, this one says the other photos are a couple of recent aurora captures. The pink aurora is from February the 18th. Up in there.
There.
And that's oh, look at this.
Yeah. The green one, he says, is from February 26th. Now, all three photos were taken around the Durham Bridge area in Fredericton. So nice stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the aurora shots are farther north of us for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Nicely done.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
beautiful.
Thanks for contributing again. I'm going to move on to Mark Fitkin's captures here. I said, before it all went sideways, the Orion and Running Man Nebula, using the C-Star S30's internal deep sky stacker, denoised and some adjustment in the phone.
That's
Very
right.
nice.
Yeah, and then the Rosette Nebula. He
Oh,
says,
cool.
incomplete mosaic, some adjustments made in Snapseed, and then came the clouds, he says.
Bring
Yeah,
in
totally.
clouds.
Still, that's pretty cool to be able to mosaic that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice Rosette there. Yeah.
Oh, you got all of it in there. Nice.
Good job, Mark. Okay. Go to Kathy Adams' capture here of the sun here on the 28th.
Yeah.
7 hours of data. Oh, no, sorry, that's not the same one. This is her here. This is her sun.
Yeah, no, that'd be a quick shot.
Yeah, that's a quick shot. And there's
Yeah.
some sunspots. I think your next one is coming up is here it is. Yeah. So 7 hours of data on the Running Man and the Orion Nebula with my Dwarf 3 over 3 nights brought out more details on nebulosity.
Yes.
All were imaged using a gain of 60. Exposure times varied between 10 and 30 seconds. The second image is a 2-hour image. She said.
That's using the dwarf, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that, eh? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, they do nice work.
Yeah.
Running Man. Nice, Kathy. Okay, I'm going to go from there to Joey Craswell's captured here. This is really nice. This was a surprise, he said, being able to image the Great Orion Nebula, the Horsehead Nebula, in the same frame.
Yeah, I grabbed that one and put it on the St. John Astronomy Club website as photo of the week, actually.
Oh, is that right? Okay. There's only 12 minutes of data, and I couldn't believe how much detail I could see. Definitely two of my favorite winter targets in one image.
Yeah, nice.
An Asker FRA 400 telescope and an ASI 2600 MC Pro camera. Well done.
Oh, there you go. So he's got the larger sensor now.
Yeah. Look at that.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
Nice
because-
work.
This is right around the third star of the belt, right? So the first star of the belt going across
First star.
right
On the tap.
on the top, yeah. And of course, this is right in the sword area of Orion. So
Yeah, that Running Man really turned out great, didn't it?
Mm.
yeah.
Awesome.
Stuff. All right, I'm going to go from there to Ken Muscola's captures here. This one here, NGC 2438, multi-shell planetary nebula, 1,370 light years away. It's nestled in the southern constellation of Puppis, P-U-P-P-I-S, or Puppis, close to Canis Major's Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, just southeast of Orion and in line with Orion's belt. Now, this planetary nebula is definitely deserving of a more imaging time than this 8 minutes in mortal 6 to 7 skies. So I hope your viewers can appreciate this image. Also, this cluster M46 may be a great target along with M47 and candidates for Bino Bud.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice little hidden jewel in there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
really nice.
Thanks, Ken. All right, I'm going to go to Robert's capture from tonight here of the crescent moon. Grabbed that from Robert Cadet just before showtime here. So always a nice crescent when we're getting an opportunity to check it out.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I got the same shot. It was set about the same time.
Yeah.
It's just so pretty with the way that
Oh.
the sky is not quite dark yet, right?
Just hanging there, yeah, and some nice
How low in the sky was it, Mike, when you shot it?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 30 degrees.
Okay.
Awesome. Nice one, Robert. Okay, I'm going to go from there to Dan Copeland's captures here. M8 and M20.
Oh, yeah, it's got a
Lagoon
loop.
and the Trifid from Hamilton, Ontario, from Bortle 8 Sky.
Wow.
Wow. These are some pictures that Dan had sent me a bunch of pictures. I said I was going to save some for this week, and I'm glad I did. So here's some extras. Look, these must be satellites passing through.
That turned out well. What did he say what he used?
No, he didn't. Not in this. Not in these
Wide
shots.
field for sure.
Yeah, Whitefield for sure. His Milky Way shot over
Oh, beautiful.
in
Nice.
Dacus historical village.
Very nice.
Like I said.
Very nice.
And then he's got this one, sunset over Price's Point in Hamilton.
I love it.
Oh yeah, look at that, eh? What a beautiful color.
And you got this one, the Theater of Eclipses, he calls it.
Yes, sir.
Theater of the Eclipses, yeah. That's cool.
Going yep. The other was going nope.
I like that. That's cool. Thanks, Dan, for those.
Nice work.
Go from here to this one came from Annie Luce, so I'm just going to go on through it. Fun fact: she said I saw it on the web and I checked it with ChatGPT if it was legit, and she said it was. The colors of meteor trails influenced by the elements present in the meteor, as well as interaction with Earth's atmosphere. Nitrogen, oxygen is the red color, of course. Sodium is yellow-orange. Iron is yellow-green. Magnesium is blue-green. Calcium is purplish-violet.
And the ones that we see the most of that are most visible is the green, because our eyes is really green.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you see that, when you obviously you know it's iron, but those ones we tend to see, I think, more of those than any.
If you get a chance to see them at all.
Yeah. Well, Mike doesn't. Mike, they're always behind Mike, but
Yeah, that's right.
Tim Doucette, yeah. This is consistent with the concept of atomic emission spectra, where different elements emit specific wavelengths of light when heated. Now, while the exact colors may vary depending on atmospheric conditions and meteor composition, this is a good general guide. So thank you, Annie, for that.
yeah, very nice.
Mm.
I'm going to go from there to this shot, which is send in your photos. So we start getting.
It's the
Oh, they're back again. Okay.
it's the Sunday Night Galaxy triplet.
It is. Anyway, send them into astronomybythebay@gmail.com. We'll be happy to put them up on our next broadcast. We will be very happy. Okay, now before we go to something else, I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to bring on some volume there. I don't think I get any volume. No, don't. There we go. So instead of me talking about what's up this week or this month, I'm going to let NASA do it. And this is from NASA's website, which they put out this video every month. Let me, am I sharing sound? I better stop for a second. Be sure I'm sharing sound first. Stop share. I'll go back in again. Share sound. Yes, share sound. Good. Okay. And I'm going to go to screen 2. Let's see if we can watch this for a second. Not too long.
What's up for March? A good time to catch Mercury. An eclipse approaches. And the dark side of the moon. March begins with Venus still hanging out low in the west after sunset, but it quickly drops out of the sky. By mid-month, it's getting lost in the glare of sunset. Once it gets dark, you'll find Jupiter and Mars high overhead, keeping you company through the evening. Mars sets a couple of hours after midnight this month, leaving the morning sky planet-free for the first time in a year. March also has the best opportunity this year for trying to spot fast-moving Mercury if you're in the northern hemisphere. It's only visible for a few weeks at a time every 3 to 4 months. This is because the speedy planet orbits the sun in just 88 days, so it quickly shifts its position in the sky from day to day. It's always visible either just after sunset or just before sunrise. On March 7th through 9th, look for Mercury beginning about 30 minutes after sunset in the west, about 10 degrees above the horizon. You'll want to ensure your view isn't blocked by trees, buildings, or other obstructions, and observing from a large, open field or the shore of a lake or the seaside can be helpful. Spying Mercury isn't always easy, but catching the fleet-footed planet is a worthy goal for any skywatcher. There's a total lunar eclipse on the way this month, visible across the Americas. Lunar eclipses can be viewed from anywhere the moon is above the horizon at the time. The show unfolds overnight on March 13th and into the 14th depending on your time zone. Check the schedule for your area for precise timing. Now, during a total lunar eclipse, we watch as the moon passes through Earth's shadow. It first appears to have a bite taken out of one side, but as maximum eclipse nears, the moon transforms into a deep crimson orb. That red color comes from the ring of all the sunsets and sunrises you'd see encircling our planet if you were an astronaut on the lunar surface right then. Afterward, the eclipse plays out in reverse, with the red color fading and the dark bite shrinking until the moon looks like its usual self again. And here's an interesting pattern. Eclipses always arrive in pairs. A couple of weeks before or after a lunar eclipse, there's always a solar eclipse. And this time, it's a partial solar eclipse that will be visible across eastern Canada, Greenland, and northern Europe. The moon has a dark side, but it may not be what you think. As it orbits around Earth each month, the moon is also rotating or spinning. So while we always see the same face of the moon, sunlight sweeps across the lunar surface every month as it rotates. This means there's no permanently dark side. The moon's dark side faces Earth when the moon passes between our planet and the sun each month. This is the moment when the moon is said to be new, as in a fresh start for its changing phases. The new moon is also located quite close to the sun in the sky, making it more or less invisible unless there's a solar eclipse. Nights around the new moon phase provide excellent opportunities for observing the sky, especially if you're using a telescope or doing astrophotography. Without moonlight washing out the sky, you can better see faint stars, nebulas, the Milky Way, and distant galaxies. So next time someone mentions the dark side of the moon, you'll know there's more to the story. And you might even discover some deep sky treasures while the moon takes its monthly break. Here are the phases of the moon for March. Stay up to date on all of NASA's missions exploring the solar system and beyond at science.nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
I think
Always
I,
something to see.
yeah. Nicely done. NASA.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what's up that part of the month. I'm going to add just a few more things here before we sign off. Go back to my, hang on.
In that series of images that he was showing, where he showed the Milky Way, and you could see Andromeda in the sky, that's really what it looks like.
Yeah.
If you're in a dark enough sky, pretty much naked eye, or even with just a quick shot with the camera, it's really that visible. So I don't know if you may not have noticed it, but
Yeah, no, it is for sure. Okay, here's back to our chart again from Lisa's lookup. So NASA covered that part of the talk, and I'll probably show that once a month now because it is kind of a neat talk. Lisa's lookup. Lisa gave me this chart new for March now. So in this chart, she puts the event in the first column, the dates in the second column, the peak time to see the event, and what you need for seeing tools: naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. You can find Lisa at Lisa's lookup. Just follow her at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Mastodon, Facebook, Threads, and now on Blue Sky. So thank you, Lisa. All the events are, here's a new total lunar eclipse coming up. That's the next big one coming. From there, she also has this pre-download of the highlights of 2025 on her page too. So find her at Lisa's Lookup Astronomy and More on Facebook. And this, of course, we just talked about the total lunar eclipse in 111 days. That was a long time ago. So, but it is, it begins at 12:57. This maximum for us is going to be around 3:58 in the morning, and it ends at 7 a.m. I will be live on YouTube and Facebook, hopefully, with the broadcast, as long as the weather cooperates. And I will be live as well for the partial solar eclipse coming up after that. So, and also, I do have a children's contest going on right now to help celebrate the fact that we have 2 eclipses coming up. I've only received a few entries so far, hoping to get a whole lot more before Friday. So all you have to do is have your child draw a picture of them enjoying either the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse, or both if they want. Take a picture of that drawing, send it into my page, astronomybythebay@gmail.com, and I will enter their name for one of these prizes. So lots of prizes here to enjoy for kids anywhere from 12 and under. And finally, I do have a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, it's called Solar Eclipse. Solar Lunar Eclipse. Right now, we got about 300 and some members there, and on this page, I'm focusing on these two eclipses, as they did with the 2024 total solar eclipse that we had back in April the 8th. As well, if you are on Facebook and you want to go look up that page, the New Brunswick 2024 solar eclipse, I've got it still up, and all of the images that were captured at that time are all still there, so you can go back and take a look at all that stuff. But that's why I created this page individually, just to offer people a chance to come have a look, and I'm hoping people will share their images here for those two events. So that's what I get to say for that.
There you go.
There you go.
Duh.
Okay, talk amongst yourselves time while I try to get up in here.
No.
I know I have to have close
No.
after all this time.
No.
So number one, or Picard says the number one. Remember what a metaphor is. Number one says, "I know what a metaphor is." Then Picard says, "Then you know what? Then you know better than a meta 3, but not quite as good as a meta 5."
I'm sorry I had to pause, folks. You had to listen to that.
Yep.
You gotta love these guys.
Okay.
Every time I see one, I tell it to my wife, and she just does what Mike did.
Okay.
And you moan at my puns.
So Picard, but one more. Picard says,
okay.
"My girlfriend poked me in both eyes," and then number one looks at her, and then Picard says, "I stopped seeing her."
Yeah.
You like? All right. Well, anyway, with that.
Remember the band Simple Minds?
Yeah.
That's
okay,
me.
so that's our show for this evening. Hope you enjoyed the program tonight. Special thanks go out once again to Rosanna for her fabulous fun fact. Thank you, Rosanna, once again. Thank you to Trudy and all those who share our program for us. Really appreciate all the shares that we get. Also, special appreciate all of you. Bring your friends and family in to join with us. Number two, we do love getting your photos, so send them into astronomybybthebay@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to share them on our next broadcast. And don't forget about my contest coming up. Send your drawings in to the same address. So until next week, wishing you all clear skies. What else can we say, guys? Open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we'll sign out with this one.